Well, I moved the head down to the basement so I could work on it at night when I've actually got some time. I'm going to install all of the intake valves with the new valve springs tonight. And I'm not doing the exhaust valves because of the problem I ran into with the roto caps. The roto cap mechanism that I took apart was really tore up, bad shape. Where is it? Oh, here. There you go, this one here. Really worn out, and so I'm going to have to replace at least this one. This International Harvester part number is no longer available. And apparently I've called around to several places around the country that had some listed as in stock, and what they've got is good used pull-offs is what they're calling them. So they're parting out machines and they're keeping these. And just about everybody wants 16 bucks a piece for a used one. I think they're coming up with that number because I think that it was about $32 was the original last known list price of these when they were available. So 16 is the going rate for a used one. So initially when I thought these were going to be a lot cheaper, I figured, well, since I'm doing such a substantial refurbish on this head, I'd just replace all four of them. But now that they're looking to be a little more expensive than I thought they would be, and I'm just going to get used ones anyways, I'm thinking I might use these other ones. I'd like to be able to test them, so I might end up trying that later on. And then the other good news is I was able to do some further digging on the internet, and I think I actually was able to cross these to something else, and they might even be something I can get at my local auto parts store. I'm going to go there tomorrow and check that out, and the price that I found for that one is $23.50 for a brand new one. So if I can get those, obviously I'm not going to spend $16 for a used pull-off when I can get a brand new one for $23.50. So obviously the intake valves are these two larger valves here, so I'm going to start by putting this one together first. So I put the new valve spring on. Unlike some valve springs that are tighter wound at one end than the other, these are symmetrical, so it doesn't matter which way this goes on. And then of course I'm going to put on the regular cap. The roto caps are only used on the exhaust valves. Alright, so the compression tool pretty much goes on. And once you get it compressed, then it's pretty easy to get the keepers, or locks as they're called, in place. The bevel side going down. So now I'm gonna put the camera down, but basically I'm gonna hold these in place and slowly release the clamp. There we go. One down, four to go. Alright, there we go. The four intake valves installed. So now all that's left is to get those roto caps. What I might do is I might throw one of these roto caps on with a valve spring. I might install one on exhaust valve with a roto cap and see if I can test it by tapping on the valve and seeing if it rotates. Alright, so now I've got an exhaust valve installed with the roto cap, and the principle behind the roto cap is that every time the valve opens and closes, it's supposed to cause the exhaust valve to rotate slightly. This helps eliminate carbon buildups and also helps cool the valve. So the theory behind testing it is that if I tap on the valve stem and simulate the valve opening and closing, I should be able to actually physically watch the valve face here rotate. So I don't want to damage my valve stem, so I'll use a dead blow mallet. Alright, I've turned the head around so that I can get the better lighting on it, and can actually see the EX USA down here, so it's going to be easy to tell if it's rotating. Yep, I tapped it about 10 more times and it rotated about a quarter turn, so that roto cap is doing what it's supposed to do. So let me install another one. Alright, so I'm going to test the next roto cap. Actually, there's a little dot right there. That's at about 3 o'clock. Let's see. Give it about 10 clicks and see what happens. Yep, I actually gave it about 15 clicks and it moved from 3 o'clock. The dot's now at about 12 o'clock, so that one is also working. So we'll put in the last good one I have, or the last one that isn't completely broken, and see if that tests okay. And then if that ends up being the case, I'll only have to order one replacement. Okay, so now we're gonna test this one. And this one here, we got the, looks like the EX USA is down here at around 7 o'clock. Oh yeah, 15 good taps, and that moved all the way from 7 all the way over here to about 4 o'clock. So that roto cap is also working. So now I just got to replace the one roto cap that was completely seized up, and that when I broke apart found all this damage. And we'll be able to reinstall this head. So trip to the auto parts store tomorrow morning to see whether or not I can get that brand new replacement. Well, the new roto cap that I got in was the wrong size, and I tried taking it apart and seeing if I could use the parts in it to fix the original roto cap. That didn't work, and because the new style roto cap has different internals, I saw a cutaway view of what's supposed to be inside the original roto cap, and it turns out there's only supposed to be 2 little tiny ball bearings in there from what it looks like, but also looks like there might be a spring in there, but I couldn't really tell from the photo, so, or the cutaway. So anyways, I put the old roto cap back together with the 2 ball bearings in there. No spring, because I couldn't find any spring unless it went flying when I knocked it apart. And tested it, and it doesn't work at all. It doesn't rotate the valve at all. So I ordered a used takeoff from a company out in Iowa. So there it is. So we're going to install this today and test it, and hopefully it's going to work. Alright, I've got the used roto cap on, so now I'm going to test it just like I tested the other ones there. So I'm looking at the exhaust valve here, and it looks like the number 1 in the little block right there is facing down, and the IH symbol is facing up. So let's see if it rotates. Does look like it's rotating some, so I'm going to put the camera down so I can hold the block and give it a bit of tap. Tap it about 15 times. Alright, tapped it about 15 times, and you can see the IH symbol is now rotated over to here, and the block with the 1 in it is now rotated over to there. So I'm getting rotation on that valve, so I'm satisfied now. I can reinstall this head